Okay, I did chapter 15. It's free speech and official pressure, the case of the visiting foreign student. So, Catherine was an intern and she came across something on the event calendar, and she saw that 20 students were doing an exchange program. And she ended up pitching the story to her editors, and they really liked it, but they wanted her to rethink her angle. So instead of summarizing, they wanted her to focus on one member. So a person popped into her head. His name was Ashraf. I'm probably saying that so wrong. Everything was going great. Like, he wanted to talk. He wanted, like, he took a picture. He was really open and honest about everything, talking about his education and all that. So they ran the story, and they got a call from the State Department saying that his name needed to be removed, or the entire story needed to be removed. So Catherine kind of went back and forth and was like, why would I do that? People have already read it. It's already out in the public. So she talked to her peers and did some research, and their first thought was what I just said, was it's already out in the public. Like, people have already read it, so why take it down now? But then they talked about it some more, thought about it some more, and safety became a big part of their concern. So in the end, the safety won, and they removed his last name from the story because he could be imprisoned, or, like, we don't know what his country would do to him. So safety was a big factor in the end. Question 1 asks, do you agree with the newspaper's decision to ultimately change the name? I agree. I think it's hard because the story was already published, so I feel like you can't go back and, like, change his name and then, like, republish it, because people have already seen the real one. So it'd be kind of hard to, like, go back and, like, try to cover it up type thing. So I agree with them just taking the last name out. I agree with them going back and forth about it because his safety is the number one priority. And I feel bad for Catherine because I feel like she didn't think about, the repercussions of, since he is from a different country, we don't know how they will handle it. So I do feel bad, but I do agree with what they did. Number 2 asks, where is it? Oh, what would you say to the people you interview? I would be very honest and upfront about what I'm going to use the interview for. So if I'm going to use your name, if I'm going to use your family name, or the school you went to, like the education, or stuff that would have your identity out there and people could identify you from that. So I would be completely open, honest. I think she could have been a little more honest with him about what the story was, like how she was going to run the story and how she was going to write the story. As a reporter, would you feel an obligation to be more thorough in your explanations with young adults? Yes, because they're trusting you. Like, if I'm getting interviewed, I don't know what questions to ask. Like, are you going to use my name? Like, now reading this, like, now I know, like, to be more upfront about, like, asking questions and, like, making sure I know what exactly they're using my information for and how they're going to write it. But before reading this, I would not know what to ask, or sometimes I feel a little pressured to talk and being interviewed and stuff like that. Number 3 asks, whom should you consult on or near your campus during more complex ethical dilemmas? I think there's, like, a Title IX, or there's something to protect us in some way. I honestly, now that I'm reading this and I don't have an answer, I'm probably going to go look it up, because I feel like that's a good thing to know. I feel like you could always talk to, like, a professor or an advisor or even your parents, and then to like just to help you get like a ground based knowledge, and then they can like point you in the right direction. For number 4, I would have made the same decision. I would have run the story, but I think I would have put like a disclaimer or something and said, hey, like I want the truth out, and I'm not writing this story to like make anybody mad or put anybody in jeopardy. But since none of that happened, and it was kind of like a oh oops like afterthought type thing, I feel like the readers deserve like an explanation, like, hey, like we didn't mean for this to happen, or like we didn't want his safety to be in jeopardy. So I feel like the readers would want to know, or like I said before, I get kind of pressured when someone is interviewing me, and I don't know like what the right answer or what the right questions are to ask when it comes to what my rights are, I guess, and what's ethical and what's not. So I really enjoyed this. I think it opened my eyes up to like standing my ground, and yeah, like he was very upfront, but which is great, but if my safety's going to be in jeopardy, then I need to know that. So just when it comes to jobs, if I'm ever in a situation where I am being interviewed, just to know like trust my gut and to know what's ethical and what's not.